behalf, I deem it a privilege to be sitting along with this galaxy of thought leaders and drawn from different parts of academia to be here with us to share. And the speakers, earlier speakers, well mentioned how we have to be going strategic about sustainability. Recently, I was reading a Harvard article of the 2025 January issue, which talks exactly the same, how we need to be strategic about sustainability. Friends, all of us know that business has moved, academia has moved from a shareholder capitalism to stakeholder capitalism. We call it a departure from the Milton Friedman era to the modern era. One day, I was having a discussion with Dr. Ranjit, and I asked him, what motivated you to be actually a part of moving? Because ERDA moves not for profit, but for purpose. And today, all the researchers show that if your business has a purpose, then profit is natural outcome. Friends, all the vice chancellors, the luminaries seated here would agree that we in India need to adapt and adopt to these type of learning methods. We are doing that. UGC is planning to move from either the traditional learning method to ADA, accelerated degree programs, and EDA, extended degree programs, where you would actually save time, money, and embark onto. One of the speakers mentioned, I really liked it, that the real customer are our parents, and how their hard-earned money has to be put to use. And how do we attain that financial sustainability? We have certain finest minds in the financial world, strategy, and other areas. Friends, one more area I would love to touch upon. I was reading a book recently, Hyper Efficient, a recent book written by Muthu Storoni, a Stanford professor. And in that book, she was mentioning that today, of course, from the first telephone of Graham Bell to the mobile telephony, we actually came a long way. But today, each day, we see wave after wave of innovations. And sometimes we feel our human brain is not able to actually catch up with the developments that are happening. That happens, but not to worry. That's where I want our speakers to enlighten us. How are we going to keep pace with the changes that are happening around and incorporate them into our learning and become sustainable? So once again, I welcome all the esteemed panelists, and we stick to our time and we keep moving forward. So I would love to start with Madam Taruna. We have an esteemed Vice Chancellor and someone who can shed some light onto economics. Madam, what do you think now, this UGC's new programs coming up, what are the impacts of it going to be in the academia and the industry?
Thank you, Professor Sebastian. First of all, I thank ERDA and Christ University for hosting us. You know, you spoke about sustainability. Just taking the reference from that word that you've used, which is moving around a lot. We've been talking about 3 Ps, peace, profit, planet. Nowadays, 2 more Ps have started being dialogued about, which is peace and prosperity. You know, and when I talk about peace and prosperity, today I was reading Times of India, and Piketty's article is there today. It talks about that India is growing fast-paced, but the major challenge which India has to address is inequality. And inequality is something which is not declining. And out of my 5 co-panelists, I think I'm the only female. Thank you for having at least 1 female panelist, although it would have been better if we could have had 1 or 2 more, female panelists. Moving ahead, I am into education for last 28 years, starting my journey from being a faculty of economics to today being a vice chancellor of an upcoming university in NCR. And I do not mind in admitting the fact when I look at the students today, I really envy them. They may not understand this fact, but you are in very good times. You are well placed in terms of resources that are available with you, in terms of the changes that are happening and the transformation that is happening in education, which is driven by, first of all, technology, to the change in global landscape. And third, most important, we've started thinking about that yes, our education systems, processes, pedagogy, everything needs a transformation. And you are all the party to that. And I think one of the speakers said that the average of India is 28.2. Now, it's a great opportunity, but it's also equally a challenge. It's a challenge in the sense that today, I believe 60% of our population is in the age bracket of 15 to 64. Now, that is where at least till maybe 2025, which I have read, we are going to enjoy this demographic dividend. That's a great opportunity for us. And there are some welcome changes that are happening in terms of educational policy through UGC. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Central Board for Irrigation and Power. We are trying to come together in terms of providing some, 6 months courses to train our students. And what the person representing the organization told me is that they want only 100 people, 100, graduates from engineering who can join renewable energy. And they are not able to get it. When I look at the student ratio of my university, almost, if I look at engineering, 85 to 90% of the students are doing only computer science. Remaining 10%, 12% are doing biotechnology. While mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, the total strength out of 2,500 engineering students is only roughly around 150 to 200, a very bleak representation. So now what I'm trying to bring here is that, like in China, I think somebody just touched upon, there's a good connect between academia, industry, and policy. We are very much future focused.
Madam, can I interrupt you here and ask Dr. Ajay to throw some light on? See now, 5 years ago, friends, if we spoke about startup in India, people would have frowned upon you. Somebody, you go to a countryside and say that I'm a startup founder, and you give some fantastic names of unicorn, it wouldn't have really much of, energized them. But today the scenario has changed. Sir, Madam was mentioning the importance of having that kind of interdisciplinary approach, especially to boost startups and such kind of an ecosystem. Would you mind throwing some light on that, sir?
Namaskar to everybody. First of all, thank you so much to invite me on a ERDA meet. Let me, tell one thing, that everybody, especially talking about the students, I'll come to the topic within 1 minute. That when we are here to talk about yourself, skilling, and skilling. We'll only talk about skilling, right? So just try to see your inner things, Everybody is having a skill in them. For us, this skilling word is not new. If I can ask anybody from here, what is the meaning of a skilling in Hindi? I'm born and brought up at Delhi, totally Delhiite, now posted in Bhopal from last 2 years. What do you mean by kaushalta? Can anybody tell me what is the definition of kaushalta and from where this word have been come? Sir.
Can somebody give the mic there? Volunteers.
Anybody else? I'll take 5 minutes, not take more than that, because I know that my time limits permits me only 5 minutes. So then I'll come to the topic, especially about the UGC and the MAM's
Yes.
prospectus, because before joining this university, I am a part of skill ecosystem from last 10 years, where I was a chief executive officer for IASC Sector Skill Council, taking care of 4 sectors out of 37. So now from where this word come, kaushalta? Just 1 minute, right? Is anybody aware of what is kush? बच्चों को पता ही नहीं अभी. So, Kush is a type of a grass, right? पहले टाइम में क्या था इन आवर एशियन टाइम्स, जब बच्चा गुरुकुल में जाता था. Is anybody aware of Gurukul? Very good. Now this sounds interesting now. Now the students are taking interest, right?
Yes.
गुरुकुल में जब जाता था तो गुरु उसको बोलते थे अपने लिए, you have to make one place to sit, right? और उस पे बैठोगे कहां पे? You have to create one आसन for you, right? Or you can say a small kind of a carpet, अगर किसी को आसन समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो. वो स्टूडेंट जंगल में जाके उस घास को, उस कुश को लेके आता था और उससे वो आसन बनाता था. जब तक वो आसन नहीं बनाएगा उसकी एजुकेशन स्टार्ट नहीं होगी. और जिस दिन वो आसन बना के अपने गुरु को दिखाता था, उस दिन वो कुश से कौशल हो जाता था. So from there this word have come. Now let me talk about the UGC guidelines. We have UGC is now talking about the apprenticeship embedded program. As sir have rightly said, from where we'll reach after 5 years. Almost everybody from here, those who are the all respective vice chancellors sitting in front of us, industry, everybody have started collaborating. Talking about from this platform, if I'll say, there is a huge gap between the industry and academia, no, not now. It was. And slowly and gradually, we are moving ahead. So the major thing is, if the industry and academias are joining hands and come up with an apprenticeship embedded degree program, which UGC have now forced, but we have to do it very fast. Why? We have released one national education policy in 2020. Till 2023, we have not got the recognition. 2.4, now we are talking about it. 2.5, we are going to happen. So, industry is not having time. Let's understand that, especially students. Industry is not having time and the academicians to wait so long. 1. 2, industry is not having time to give more time for us to provide the trainings to our students. So we have to be industry ready. Our curriculum should talk about the industry demand, and based on the industry demand, we have to create our curriculums. So this is what exactly from today, if we'll start, definitely after a time period of 3 to 4 years, when the student will, like as I've told you, AEDP, where they are going to give their 3 to 4 semesters in the university. Being a skill university, what we have done, we have started few programs where for only 2 semesters the student is with us, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Especially 3, 4, 5, and 6, because most of the courses are only for the 3 years. They are with industry. So this is the beauty of a skilling university. I'm not only talking about the skill university because people are here, those who are not from the skill university also. But yes, we have to embed at least 30 to 40% of our curriculum should talk only about the industry's requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay, for taking us back to the roots and also explaining to us how skilling matters, because this is what industry, and if somebody asks me, what are the 3 things that academia needs to focus to take our generation to the next level, I would say first is institution, industry, close interaction. We talk about it, but it only goes on a peripheral level. What really has to be done, the same way how we have to be strategic about sustainability, because organizations only look at the financial correlation of sustainability. They're not really getting into the purpose. That's what one of the speakers mentioned. And now our Dr. Ajay also is mentioning the same thing. So our second thing would be, how are we going to incorporate AI? Because we can't run away from AI. Third thing, how are we going to benchmark with world-class standards? Friends, I'm reminded of one quote from Jeff Bezos. Once he was asked in a meeting, what are the things that are going to change in the 10 years' time? And his answer was, I'm less frequently asked a question, what are the things which are not going to change? Now, I think our speakers here are reminding us that we need to focus on our strengths, which is core, which is our Atma, which is the core of Indianness. Rooted in that, you start moving forward. I think in this regard, Dr. Ranjit, what are your thoughts? How can we perfectly blend this skill with other learnings that we have and make our students ready for industry?
Thank you very much. First, my gratitude to ERDA to make me a part of this esteemed panel and this great gathering. Right from the morning, I'm being enriched, and your question, I think partially it is answered already, but what we need is, take words from Satya Prakash Singh, you need infrastructure, that is first thing. And then what we need, students who are willing to learn. Second, that is the mindset. Thirdly, we need skilled faculty. Quantity as well as quality. I am from a university which is purely in a rural background. Students are different, faculty is different. So to bring things at par, national or global level, what we need is their training, their skilling. That is the first thing. And what I believe in is the change in mindset. Curriculums are emphasized. To deliver the curriculum, we need skilled faculty, and we have to go for those faculty development program in real sense, where we make them technology ready. You spoke of AI. We cannot do without technology, but human interference, human intelligence will be at the top. There is no doubt in that. And what that I realized, you have to understand the requirement of each and every institution to find out the gaps and work together to skill the faculty so that the learners are skilled. That is all from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjit. See, now we are getting a glimpse of how we need to take it forward, how sustainability has to be taken forward, how purpose has to be interwoven into everything that we do. Now, may I now move to Dr. Parsanjeet? What are your thoughts on the whole issue that we are discussing here, sir?
Thank you very much. I pay my gratitude towards ERDA to give me the opportunity and to be here on this platform. When we are talking about the empowerment, the sustainability and skill, three are very important aspects. If we take into the consideration of individual, society and the societal aspects as a whole. Education basically concept of the three steps. One is schooling, second is the college, and third is come to the research. And we talk about the skill. These two components means the sustainability. Sustainability means the educations make you more achievable. The educations make you more transferable within yourself. The education makes you more transformative into the aspects. But the skill, what is skill? Skill is a basic component within individuals, as already has been stated by the Dr. Ajay, that everyone who are not getting education, that is full of skills also, but need to be identified. A skill is a basic practice which makes you more commendable to perform a task. If we are talking about that, the graduate students, if we are talking about that BA students, and we are talking about the BSc students, the difference is that there is no laboratory involved in the art and liberal arts, but skill is there also. We need to identify the specific way where the liberal arts students can be skillful as well as the graduate students of the BSc Biotechnology and other streams also. So if we'll talk about the skill is a very common phenomena available within the individuals, and through the trainings, we try to be develop the commands of the individuals in the particular set of the practice of the performance. If the set of the practice of the performance will become into, then definitely any kind of the economic sustainability through the workforce and through the work of world activities can be performed. If we'll talk about that, how to integrate these things, the sustainability of individual, the sustainability of the society, and the sustainability of the geographical area into the need of the earth can be through the education. We need to be integrate the skill into the education through the curriculums, and that can be transformed into the classrooms. As a leader of the higher education, I personally feel that if you're not talking about the behavior skills, if you're not talking about the communication skills, if you're not talking about that any other hardcore skills, that we are not training them, we are not transforming the individuals into the empowerment. Empowerment comes the individuality where you commands over the at least one or two field of the work of world of the to be the performed. Then only then empowerment can be generated. We are in general sense, just leading a university which has been set up the last year, the SDGI Global University, which has the legacy of the 20 years, the higher education into the colleges concepts. But this university is basically, it come with the concept, since the establishment we have adopted the NEP, means the NEP says that the skill empowerment through the skills, not the traditional way of the concepts to read out and to transform the syllabus into the classrooms. Skills means the trainings, the lab involvements, the involvements of the industries and more. If we'll talk about the skills, that comes almost the part of the certification and diplomas instead of the degrees. If we cover the 60-70 part of the skills into the diploma and certifications, 1 year, 2 year and 3 year, 4 year concepts of the NEP schemes, then definitely will be try to be achieved at large, and individuals get into the skilled commendable areas of their interest. After that, we can be integrate it to the transformation of the education as a whole. We are in the traditional way and we are just transforming the individuals towards the degree holders. It is my own experience. I had been to the so many universities, Sharda, Subharti and Noida International University, JNU, Jaipur also. It is my own way that the students, either they are not intent to learning or their intention is not being identified by educators. The need, the focus is that if I am the teacher, that I have to be identified that what prominent commandable areas lies within the individuals, and it can be identified through the groups only. And on the basis of the identification of the groups, the skill set training should be introduced, and it could be in the best result of the transformations. That is my from side. Thank you.
Dr. Parsanjeet is emphasizing on the need to incorporate other areas like attitude, other areas of learning in the skill development. This is an important fact, I would say, friends. How behavioral science, how issues of that kind are becoming a part of business too. I was going through another book written by Malcolm Gladwell. I'm sure you have heard of. His first book is Tipping Point. After 25 years, he's writing a book, Revenge of the Tipping Point. Of course, it is in the American context, but we can always extrapolate it into our context too, where he says how major consultants join hands with medical companies and they give wrong strategies. And we saw that during coronavirus time. So how skilled we need to be, not just in our own area, but in a 360-degree area. And for that, attitude is very important. I think that wisdom comes from his vast years of experience and learning. And all the luminaries seated here are bringing that aspect. How we have to incorporate our attitude and how we need to keep upskilling to remain focused in the area that we carve for ourselves. Now, let me come to Dr. Raman. What are the things that you do in your university or in your years of experience as an academician? How do we actually find out the right skills? Because Dr. Parsanjeet was mentioning about a science student gaining knowledge about Shakespeare, or an engineering student going to finance, and these type of knowledge sharing to build the right kind of skill. So what are your thoughts on this, sir?
Thank you, sir. Dr. Shiju from Christ College. I firstly must thank my own university, ICFAI, the whole society, the ERDA, and the committee which has thought that I am wise enough to be here. Having heard most of them, I have the last chance, therefore words are short. But he has confined me to a very good area, which is my area. Let me first introduce myself. I have been a Vice Chancellor already for almost 12 years now. And this is my 34th year of service. Though I still look as young as I was in the college days, that's because I maintained that my hairs grew gray right in the time of my MSc days, 1988. So I had to maintain for my wife and family and my students who come to me. Every year basis, new students come, and I remain the same. Having said that, experience or experiential learning is what is important. What lies inside your head or inside your heart, inside your will, inside your own mind is most important. I'm reminded of the Varna system that we had right from our Gurukul system or times or Vedic times. When we had the 4 Varnas, how did we get it? Those were based on skills. Shudras did not have interest in reading. They did what they were skilled in. Vaishyas were more interested in doing the trade, and so on. There were so-called people who were interested in studies, doing research, being part of education, interpreting the scriptures, and then guiding the people. They were called Brahmins. There was nothing to do with anything upper or lower. It was based on skill. And I think the present day requires the leveling of this particular so-called caste system, which was the result of unfortunate, idiotic governance that we had in terms of Muslim or Abrahamic traditions, and then the Britishers. Fortunately, we remain intelligent enough to extract the good things. And that's what we did. And that's how we stand today. And we are still at the top of the world with everybody demanding Indians for them to become the CEOs. How has that happened? It's because of our skills. It's because of our education system. I come from a physics background. I have done my master's in technology as well, computer science. People doing computer science today, it is not somebody. I was very fortunate to hear Sidbi chairperson, and he said there is no dearth of money. If that is so, sir, unfortunately he has gone, there is no dearth of ideas as well. There is no dearth of ideas. You give money 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 10 lakh to each student. He will give you a product. Can we not work on this particular manner? We want the ideas to come first and then the funding. The whole thing goes haywire. Because the person is not able to have a comprehensive viewpoint of the idea that yes, I had some idea long back before the COVID, and I wrote a book. I said, instead of now these Varna system, how do we really get on to an excellence mode of choosing a career? How do you excel in whatever you are doing? See, the one thing is we are doing things where we don't have interest. Can we jot down our interests? Then we are also doing something where we are not skilled. Can we jot down our skills? We also work on the system where we don't have our own value system matching with the value system of the workplace. Can we jot down our own value system and priorities? Thirdly, our personalities many a times do not match with the work that we do. And therefore, so many confusions. And lastly, the individual have his own distinctiveness. Having said that, if you match and find a common point, you will find your career. If you are working in the area of your interest, your skill, your value system, your distinctiveness, and your personality, you are going to excel. Now, that's the formula that I brought up in my book. Later, we also divided the whole life into a number of phases. Each phase, maybe 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20, and so on, till 85. 5 to 85 is my website. Every individual has talent, every individual has ideas, every individual is interested in working. That he is not given the equal opportunity is the issue. Now, the government at its best is awakened. We are now being ruled by ourselves. It is our governance. No Britishers exist. But we are sitting at the back still with the mindset of possibly being ruled by somebody. Somebody will give me the idea or the fund, then I will do it. I provoke the students, please come out with the idea. Let the fund givers say that I don't have funds. Then you go to the government or the prime minister once again. I had the idea. I challenge, you can have thousands ideas sitting here itself. Who doesn't know there are problems on the street? Who doesn't know there are problems on the bus? There are problems in the train. There are problems in the flight. There are problems everywhere while you take the ticket or while you book the ticket. Everywhere there is a problem. So solutions are obvious, and Indian minds are made for that. I thank the panelists because of their own ideas, but my linking was with these 5 formulas and the phases of life where you can actually decide what is to be taught. Everybody needs to be taught everything, is my way of looking at it. But till class 10th, if you have only one book for mathematics from 1 to class 10, nothing more is required. English, 1 to class 10, only one book is enough. You're only repeating every year and asking them to mug up things on till class 10th. 11th and 12th, his creativity is gone forever. I come from a school, I was left free to do anything that I want. My parents were teachers, therefore I was guided well. We are ready to guide you now, and this panel and this ERDA possibly is doing great justice in bringing out such panels and such discussions in a large number. Let the communications from here go to every community feeling where they can feel empowered, because there are people who have been guided, and they will act as missiles for them to guide them to their career and where they can excel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Raman, for taking us from villages to urban scenario and metros and the whole of our country. I don't know if you noticed, he was emphasizing on the value system. Friends, you take any of the legendary business that are doing well today, they're always rooted in values. And values to purpose, to profit. That's the mantra today. And all the vice chancellors, learned people who are seated here have come up to this stage. If you dig their background, you will see that adherence to a value system. What Dr. Raman just mentioned, from what schooling he came to, but the scenarios have changed for you. So I'm so happy that he was underscoring the importance of having values, and even small values, how that matter, and adherence to such type of values in all sectors. Thank you so much, my dear esteemed panelists. You have actually opened such a horizon to the gathering here. Now it's time for the audience to put forward their questions. So I request the volunteers to take the mic to the audience. We will have quickly maybe some 4 to 5 questions asked to the panelists. Yes. Can someone take mic there?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I have one question. I have seen this news in newspaper. One girl, she got a good marks in 12th standard. After that, she got merit seat in MBBS. She did MBBS. After that, she wants to do MS in abroad university. She wrote entrance, but she failed. After that, she committed suicide. So why she has taken wrong decision? Those who are living in platform, they are living with the confidence. Already she is doctor, right? Why she has taken wrong decision? As a teacher, how to build the self-confidence among the students, what we have to do? That is my question. Because we are here for students' community welfare. So NAP implemented a lot of skills to develop the students among the students, but it is needed how to overcome their struggles. That is
Okay,
most
ma'am.
important.
Thank you. What's your name, ma'am?
I'm Dr. Usharani from Pondicherry.
Thank you so much for that question. I think Madam is the right person to answer that question. I'm handing the mic.
Yes, I'm the right person. You know, one thing which UGC and National Education Policy has done is it has transferred the onus of teaching to the learner. Now, we are not supposed to teach the students. It is the learner who has to decide his own pathway. Now, that is where there's a lot of requirement of faculty members to shed this perception that I am a teacher. We are all only facilitators. And that is where we need to guide the students, let them decide their career pathway, and we need to support them into that initiative. And today we are in an era where there is nothing like, I cannot survive if I'm studying economics. I can only survive when I'm studying economics with finance, with psychology, with sociology, with technology. Now that integration makes me a complete professional, number one. Number two, we all, because this point I wanted to raise before he was concluding. you know we are passing through very tough times. We are not understanding that the initial problem which we as teachers have to address is the emotional well-being of students. Every day out of 5,000, I am getting not less than 10 students who are going to the Center for Wellbeing for counseling. So all institutions, in fact, my colleagues, I would request, it's very important that our centers for well-being or, center for hearing are there to, and when I go to the class, I can readily make out that these students are not going through, right mindset. That is where these cases need to go. And the parents cannot solve this problem. Parents can certainly not solve this problem. Only we as teachers can solve this problem because we are facing them while they're in the class. That is where you need to address this problem. And I don't mind telling you that there was one student who was locked in her hostel for 2 days. We had to break the door to bring her out and send her to the counselor. And the challenges were what you were only addressing. So, the onus on faculty members is immense now. One, we have to upgrade ourselves. Two, we have to be very sensitive about students because actually these students are passing through rough times. And I conclude with one last statement. A child of 8th class says, I'm depressed. My daughter tells me, Mama, aap meri problem nahi samjhoge. My daughter who is doing economics honors says, aap meri problem nahi samjhoge. Classmate student is saying, we teachers are not understanding us because this generation is going through a lot of pressure. And they are very intelligent. It is just hand holding, helping them, guiding at the right time. And the right time is when we are in the class and we observe them that something is not okay. That is what I think. Maybe others can add to it.
Thank you, madam.
With respect to the words of the Professor Dr. Taruna Gautamji, I just want to add one more thing to your question. This basic things comes from the psychology. Why we are going into the depression, why we are going to be suicide, and why we are going to be something else. Because it's a prime responsibility of the schools and parents as well. When we are under the school and +2 schools level, the aspirations is very high. The societal aspirations, parental aspirations, and the individual aspirations. It's a combination of all three levels. If we'll talk about the needs, the satisfaction of the needs of esteem and need of aspirations, it is very important to identify that. When I was the teacher and I was teaching the classes, I make the comfortable into the environment and into the inner potentials only. It is the responsibility of ourselves that we take the students from 5 to 6 hours and make them happy within individuals. If I'll talk an individual, I never be raised bars to the children that you should be 99%, 98. I always say that you should be the best performer, whatever it is, and we have to be accepted. These kind of the things and instances are coming to us when we have set a bar that we are going to be like this, and the need of appreciations and need of aspirations is not going to fulfilled, which makes you down to be think about that you are nothing. When the word is coming into the mind of individuals that you are nothing, then these type of the situations are being created. So means the teachers, undergraduate, I'm not talking about the PG, but 9 to 12th and undergraduation, we have to be talk about some kind of the psychological and the need of the individuals, esteems and aspirations and values. So that apart from the transformation of the content into the class, the particular psychological stage of the mind has to be well clear. Into the system of education, the stagnation, the other problems has been addressed some time to time. And that's why the need, as the Professor Gautam has said, that we have to be a proper counselor. The need of the counselor doesn't come to any time. If I'm talking about, and we are talking about, we never face the such type of the situation. Why? Because we are mentally strong. Mentally strong comes from the thought process, not only the academic and any kind of the literacy process transformations. So we need to be focused more on the psychological, emotional stability, as well as the academic transformations also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Because that's an important area which is coming out: mental health, mindfulness, gaining momentum. Just like how physical health is important, mental health is gaining. And as I rightly mentioned, it all comes from the kind of build that you have. And I think teachers, madam rightly mentioned, when a student comes to class, he or she may not be interested in the topic that you are mentioning. They come with different psychological issues. And the moment you as a teacher is able to understand, identify it, and cater to that, I think education really starts there. I saw a hand up there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Sir, myself, Professor Sushant Singh, and I'm a professor of Department of Life Science, Sharda University. First of all, thank you to ERDA for arranging this platform, and thank you so much to all the distinguished speakers, especially the VCs, for your valuable views. Sir, I have a very simple question. Let's suppose you are talking about identifying the skills of a student. Nowadays, you know how many students are there in a class. Let's suppose if a class of 60 students are there, we have 60 minds. Each mind is entirely different at this particular age. How to identify those skills among those 60 minds and guide them for their future? Because each one is coming with a very different set of mindset, very different set of a background, and a very different aspiration for the future. That is very challenging for a professor in order to identify those. We may be able to identify one or two, but then having 60 or a 600, it's really difficult. So I just want your view onto that, how to cope up with that mass.
Would you like to?
I think, again, I'll repeat, the onus should be on the students, one. Second, that individual who is a human being, we are talking to people who are living here. We are not talking to chairs. So people who are living understand what is the strength that they have inside them. Now, listing them down, you can take help of Google. Nowadays, ChatGPT. Now, there are so many other technologies available and tools available. You can have all the data, as I said, ISPVD, interest, skill, personality, value, and distinctiveness. Just list down. There is a thinking pattern where that you human being are the only people, or we, who have been given this thinking possibility. So there is a possibility thinking. What are the possibilities of interests? Can we not list down? What are the possibilities of skills? And then rough it out with using AI. And then find out your core areas where everything matches. You can bring in this. I also did a little bit of research for last 5 years, 10 years, wherein I have reduced all the possible career options. There are 12,000 plus career options in the world, I'm saying. It has been reduced to just 12 routes. You have to decide for only one route. Forget about the 11. So it's a rejection process rather than selection process. If you reject, no, this is not my interest area. This is where I would not like to spend my life. This will not give me fulfillment. This will not give me everything that I want in my life. Or maybe family values are not that way. You will come down to one. So out of 12, if you have to choose one, that itself is enough for give you 12, at least 1,000 jobs. So job or career opportunities is not difficult, but I think people will have to search for their own, on their own. There are guides like us also available, and many on the chair, and plus your own parents, your own gurus, your own people who have taught you, your own school, your own college. Go to them. Don't leave your teachers. They get salary for talking to you. So don't leave them.
Thank you so much, the esteemed panelists and the audience. Now, it's time that we wind up. And one thing that Sir just spoke actually is a takeaway. All of us have our own area to carve a niche for ourselves. So it is important to identify that and excel in that. And then I read somewhere it is important to pursue a career where you are really passionate about it, not what you are good at. Because when you're passionate about it, you will build on top of that. So once again, thank you, wonderful panelists. It was a fantastic discussion that we have had on various areas. Due to the paucity of time, we stop here, but the discussion doesn't end here. You have the email IDs and the profile of all these great personalities, individuals. Please follow them, and the journey continues.
Sir,
Thank
just-
you. Thank you so much.
Hello. Just one request from this platform, sir, to ERDA and to the industries. I not take just a one line. Academians, please invite industry to induct in your BOS. And industries, the request is, please come forward. That's all.
We recently had a UGC inspection, and one input which we got was that in our board of studies, student participation is equally important. So industry is there, academics is there, but students should also be a part of board of studies, because actual inputs will come from there, and then we can, work on that. So thank you.